The music gives me those flowy vibes. I'm feeling it.
Welcome, everybody. This is the Crab and Goat Show. I'm co-host Daniel G. Garza with, where are we over here now?
We're actually underneath our symbol now. Yay!
Hey, Wayne.
Hello, hello. How are you today?
I'm doing good. I feel like this light is really bright on my face. It is Monday. It is Monday. December 2nd, 2024. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the show. It is an odd Monday. I woke up early enough, but I've been really busy, and I had therapy on Mondays, and it's a heavy therapy session for those of you. I'm not going to go into therapy session right now, folks, but it was a heavy session. So a lot of feelings and emotions brewing right now.
Mm-hmm.
How are you doing? What's your day like?
I'm good. I'm kind of giggling and thinking about, too, I love how we are pretty honest about our pre-show naps on Monday. Because I had my shift at Awakenings earlier. I had a fairly busy day and, still came home, took a power nap, took a shower to help wake myself up. But it's definitely interesting energy. It definitely, Sun is in Sagittarius. It doesn't have those Sagittarius vibes quite yet for me, but I know we were coming out of a very intense Scorpio season. I know I talked about that last show. But there's definitely still a theme, I think, of releasing as well as planning and visioning the future. So I feel like the energies of today are definitely reflecting that, and kind of as we're moving forward. So interesting vibes today, I would agree.
For everybody watching, I want to start this episode, first of all, thanking Wayne for his amazing work. Yesterday seems like so long ago.
It does.
I think because it was early in the day, and then Lee and I went shopping for some last-minute Christmas. I say last-minute Christmas gifts because I'm usually done by like November with my Christmas shopping, and this I wasn't done yet. So yesterday we went and finished some last-minute. For me, it's last-minute Christmas shopping, and it just seems so long ago, but. Yesterday, December 1st, was World AIDS Day, and Wayne was very gracious to take pictures at the event. I'm not going to show all the pictures, but I took a couple, put them on. Well, one of them is his, and one of them I shared from my collection of pictures. But this is the Laguna Beach HIV Advisory Committee in the group shot. We are the committee that put together this event. We do it every year, and this is the Cobblestone Park on Main Beach in Laguna Beach, California. And it ended about 4:30-ish, right? 4:15, something around there. Mm-hmm. And the sun, during this time, it's starting to set. It was just a beautiful glow. And because it was so beautiful, I decided to take a picture of us three together. And so the gentleman in the middle in the second shot is Lee, one of my other very dear best friends, along with Wayne. So I need a picture. We sometimes hang out together. But I also have a video that Wayne was taking some. Do you want to set this up? Because you took it. So
Sure, yeah. Well, what I will say is I did this last year too, and I always love the opportunity to volunteer, especially when it is causes that are near and dear to my heart, or reflective of who I am. And of course, with AIDS and those who have come before, and all of those that we've lost. The more and more that I learn about our history from that perspective, and a lot of my knowledge has come from Daniel. I've said that many times before. And what I love what Daniel does with this too is he does live stream an hour before the reading of the names. And so he gets perspectives of those on the board. I know there's a doctor on the board as well too, and what they have going on. So I love that further awareness that he shares, the poignant questions that he comes up with on the spot for everyone. And I was fortunate. I was the first person to be interviewed yesterday, and basically shared what I'm sharing now, in that there's a lot of stigma that comes with AIDS. There is so much there. And the advocate that Daniel is in bringing awareness, in removing that stigma is so powerful to me. It's just another way and reason that I love Daniel so much in the work that he does. And it's not the only thing that he is an advocate for, but with all the things that has happened in his life and the ways that he has so transparently shared his journey is one of the most powerful ways of removing that stigma. So I always feel honored to get to participate, get to volunteer my time, get to volunteer my aspect of my story. And it was actually really moving too to hear Lee's story. And, he spoke very well to it. And after he stepped away from you, he was kind of, and he said it's really the first time that he's gotten to share his story in that way before. And it is so powerful. And to hear him speak to it, and he lived through the really dark times of AIDS, and to hear of the people that he lost, it is it's powerful, and it makes me want to step up more. And again, volunteering my time to do photos, that feels like such a small thing that I can do in just bringing awareness to those who are bringing all of that awareness to it too. So I'm so proud of you, and I'm always happy to support you and any of your advocacy, but especially this idea of our what do we call it, ancestors. We talk about spiritual ancestors, our blood ancestors, and to me this is another form of ancestry, the gay ancestry of our history and all of that comes with it. So I feel like I got to be a part of it. And so with that said, the video that I took, I more so was just trying to capture the moment of here and there, and Daniel doing the interviews, and then of course the reading of the names. So this is kind of just a snippet to show what that was like being there yesterday.
And let me say, you can still go find on the Facebook, my Facebook page, my Instagram, my Facebook, my LinkedIn, and my YouTube. You can find the video from yesterday, the interviews. And I just say thank you, Wayne, because I was running behind yesterday. And what is my hair today? Anyway, it's curly. My hair is naturally curly, and I didn't brush it out, so it's all curly. So for me, it looks like it's messy. But anyway, well, I was trying to set up and get everything organized. It 3 o'clock kicked in. So Wayne was sitting next to him. I'm like, here, start talking. And Wayne just very graciously started sharing his story. I couldn't hear everything he was saying, but I was like, I know he's saying something good, so I'm okay. He's my co-host. And I'm setting up everything else, making sure everything's good. So, and it's really cool for me because I get to go back and watch. I'm like, oh, I didn't know he caught that. So let me show you the quick minute. It's a 1 minute video, so y'all can check out a little bit of yesterday.
So in case you didn't hear, I was the chair prior, and I served our faith is gone for thousands of years, and we still have one element. It's actually my 17th year. My first year was 2008, and
So beautiful, such a feel. And I'm going to plug it for him. He's available for hire. So if you are looking for somebody to come and do photographs, do your videos, professional, friendly, good looking guy.
Oh, thanks.
I forget that you're on the other side now. For those of you who've been watching the show, we were able to make so I am the goat.
And I'm the crab.
There you go. And just so we can say, Amanda, I see you're me. So as soon as we're ready, you're the first one in line. So just hold on for a little bit. We see you, and we will get to you. We're still looking for guests. I have to admit, we really haven't been looking, I guess, because we've been having a good time together. But we are going to welcome guests to the show so that we can give them a couple of minutes to showcase what they do. Just so you know, they will not be part of the reading segment, but they will be in this segment talking about the work that they do. So if you're an intuitive, you're an energy worker, if you do some spiritual coaching in the community, anywhere in the States, and you want to be part of the show, send us a message. Let us know that you're doing the work out there. And once we check you out, and we will bring you on the show so you can talk. Basically, we're going to interview you, just so you know. Thank you, Micah. Thank you for being here. Micah is one of my friends who does amazing work too. So maybe at some point we'll have him on the show too. All right. So for those of you who are new to the show, the way we usually work is Wayne will do his message for the week, followed by the alignment, and then we will go into the reading session. The way the readings go is all you have to do is post me in whatever channel you're watching. For those of you watching on Instagram, I'm keeping an eye on the Instagram thread. So post me and we will move you over. Unfortunately, Instagram is not connected directly to the system we use, so your name doesn't appear, but I am keeping an eye, and I will make sure that you get read too. So with that, Wayne, are you ready?
Yes, let's do it. All right, so let's take a look and see what we have happening. We're still Sun and Sagittarius, so we've had our first week of being in this sign, and it's very interesting. I know I spoke to this just a little bit ago, but we definitely have this overflow of Scorpio energy still somewhat affecting us, at least in my opinion. There's definitely this theme right now that is still this sense of kind of clearing out and allowing emotions to process, allowing whatever it was that was coming up in Scorpio to continue to be kind of released and let go of, while at the same time starting to vision the future. And it's interesting, today I have this kind of download of recognizing that the more that you are able to release those things that are coming up, again, maybe those challenges where you feel like you're banging your head against the wall with certain situations, letting that come to the top of mind and asking the universe to help you to release that, to acknowledge it, to be able to move beyond this. When you do that and are releasing each of these things, it's like it's going to help you in more clearly visioning your future, where you're wanting to head. And if you already kind of have an idea, it's as if when you do these releases, you're going to see that, oh, I was wanting to head here, but actually I want to go in this direction now. So it's going to help give you clarity, because this whole month of December is still very much a time of slow release, of acknowledgement, of still kind of stepping through this fog. And as we step more into January, February, March, that's when it's going to be that oxygen, that fresh breath of air, that ability to move forward more clearly and unencumbered. So just keeping that in mind and knowing that, I know when I speak to Sagittarius energy, it is that fun loving. It is that let's go have fun. Let's go determine the why. Let's go ask the why. Let's go ask the deeper questions. And that energy is definitely present right now, but it is still somewhat being affected by the Scorpio energy. And then there's those other things at play as well too. Mercury is also retrograde at this time. So we have a couple more weeks of Mercury retrograde, with Mercury currently in Sagittarius as well too. So there's kind of Mercury being brought offline, which is our communication. It's our spiritual communication. It is our day-to-day. It's technology as well too. So this is the time that technology is likely to have more glitches, especially with it being in that Sagittarius energy. So just recognizing right now is really the key time to speak your truth to yourself, to refine your truth to yourself, and to kind of ask yourself those big questions about certain beliefs that you've held that maybe aren't suiting you anymore. This is the time that this Mercury retrograde energy in Sagittarius is really going to help you come to a better understanding of where you've shifted, where you've changed, where your beliefs have changed, and how that's going to serve you going forward. Also, Venus is currently in Capricorn until the 7th, and then it's going to enter into Aquarius. So with Venus in Capricorn, Venus is how we give and receive love. This is how we feel love in that way. And so with it being in Capricorn right now, it's really this energy of how is love supporting me? How is it helping me get through my day-to-day? How am I structured my life and my relationships to help me to realize my goals and where I want to be? And then coming into Saturday, the 7th, when it enters Aquarius, then love is going to take more of a kind of left turn, I would say, into a more mental expression, and also in ways of wanting that love to grow. And in what ways and what tools do we have that can help us in better realizing our relationships, and also seeing our partners or seeing those people that we care about in our lives, friends, family, from a newer, higher perspective. So with all of this change that's happening, each of us are going through these huge shifts in who we are. And so I feel like this Aquarius energy and Venus coming on Saturday is really going to open us up to better understanding how others around us have changed and shifted. So our relationship dynamics may shift somewhat and may change, and we may come into a better understanding of our friends, family, partners, XYZ. But there also may be some challenge that comes with this, because when we change, when we shift, there is definitely an opportunity for others around us to think that we're staying the same. And we may assume that others are staying the same as well too. So coming into this weekend and moving forward, it's a really good time to try and see people with fresh eyes, especially those that you spend the most time with, the ones that you spend quality time with, the ones who understand you the most, and have more conversations about recognizing where you've shifted, where you've changed, and what you've emotionally shifted in and out of. And then lastly, what I will say, so Mars is currently in Leo. So Mars is how the energy of what we're taking action on, how we're reacting to situations. And with it being in Leo, it's a little bit dramatic. My moon is in Leo, so I can speak to this to a degree. But it also shows that there's a need to give and receive love, and to be praised, and to be able to praise others. So this is a key time for our expression with others to really show how we love, how we give. And I think that'll help with that Venus in Capricorn energy that I was speaking about too, and seeing people from more clear eyes, seeing where they've grown and shifted from, because you're going to want to give that acknowledgement and seeing their growth, and you're going to want that acknowledgement as well too, and those others seeing how you've grown as well too. So that's the astrology breakdown. So I also did pull a card a day for the next week for tarot to kind of see what the energy is going to be. So with that said, today's energy, and this is interesting with what Daniel and I have spoken about today, today's energy is the 5 of Wands reversed. So with this, when it's typically upright, there's kind of challenge. It's internal battling. No one's making progress. This can be with self. This can be with others. But what I'm really getting at is this energy today is very much internal. And it's kind of, again, bringing up the energy of what has not been serving us. What have we been fighting ourselves on, and maybe not completely letting ourselves release, not completely letting ourselves acknowledge. So today really is kind of a internally challenging day where not a lot of progress can be made, but you can make progress if you're recognizing the ways that this energy keeps coming up. I keep having this relationship pop up. I keep having these emotions from my childhood pop up. This is the day to see what has constantly been going that you haven't been able to slow down, stop, or make progress on. And today is the day to put that energy and acknowledge that, and put it out to the universe and say, I'm ready to release this. I don't want to keep having the same battle, the same fight happening day after day after day after day. If you're able to do that, what's really cool, so tomorrow, Tuesday, the energy is the 9 of Cups, which this is the genie. This is the universe saying yes to whatever it is that you're wanting, whatever you're wanting to manifest. So tomorrow does feel like a magical day of sorts. It's a day where it can feel really happy. Actually, it's interesting with how this is coming in. It really is what you make of it. So if you wake up and you're feeling unhappy and sad and frustrated, the universe is going to say, yes, here you go. There's happiness here, or here's more sadness. Here's more frustration. Here's all of these things. So tomorrow is really what you make of it. The universe is going to say yes to whatever it is that you're feeling. So if you wake up and you find yourself still kind of in today's energy of Monday, of sadness, of this kind of constant battling, then make a conscious decision to say, no, today I'm going to feel grateful. I'm going to feel happy, and know that the universe is going to say yes to that for you. And then for Wednesday, now the 4 of Pentacles reversed. So Wednesday can kind of feel, I think, locked down. It can feel like maybe a sense of emotional and financial security needing to be either locked down more, or feeling like we don't have enough. I know we've come to the beginning of the month. For a lot of people, that's paying rent. We've just had Black Friday. Today is Cyber Monday. So Wednesday, we may be feeling oh, I shouldn't have spent all that money. Oh, I probably shouldn't have bought that. And I think I spoke to that at last week's show. If it's not something that's going to serve you in your growth or make you feel like you're making an impact, don't buy it. So if there is anything that you bought that doesn't reflect that, it's likely you're going to feel that buyer's remorse on Wednesday. For Thursday, we have the Knight of Wands. So with that, that's an energy of moving forward. It's an energy of excitement happening forward that leads us into Friday, which is the Two of Wands. So I feel like Friday is going to be a day where we're challenged in our future vision. Again, everything that I spoke to in the astrology portion, I feel like Friday is going to be a day where that kind of comes to the surface and comes to the forefront for you of recognizing in what ways are you heading into a future that's no longer serving you. So there can be a lot of energy that comes up around where am I headed? What am I doing with this? And what's interesting coming into Saturday when, again, when Venus is moving into Aquarius, we have the Six of Swords. So this is about leaving a situation behind, moving forward to a new way of being, a new way of thinking, leaving behind the beliefs that are no longer serving us. So Saturday is a good day to really feel like we're actually making that progress. And then leading into Sunday, we have the Lovers reverse. So this is interesting. I think this is kind of a breakdown of recognizing on Sunday in what ways have we shifted and grown and not acknowledged that, and being able to recognize how are we relating to ourselves now and who do we know ourselves to be now instead of where we've been. So with that said, that is my astrology breakdown and my breakdown of the week for tarot. So hopefully that is helpful for all you guys moving forward into the week. And then if it's a good time, Daniel, can we, I'll do my slides 1, 2, and 3.
Coming.
Awesome. So I have some, we have events coming up this week. We have a couple. So the first that I want to speak to is our Rehutek. So it's the ancient Egyptian energy modality. And this is a energy modality similar to Reiki in that it's channeling energy to assist in basically manifesting any intention. So every month, you guys have already heard me speak about this before. If you've seen the show, every month we have a few different events that we offer in different ways for you to experience this. So with that, slide 2 is going to show our Rehutek Healing Circle that's happening this Thursday. Excuse me. Sorry, we'll speak to this one first. So we have the Chakra Reset Sound Bath, and this is going to be Friday, the 6th, from 7 to 8:30 at Awakenings in Laguna Hills. With that, it's $40 to come, and you basically get a guided meditation. This one will actually be in Sagittarius, since we're in Sun and Sagittarius energy. We have, then you'll receive a personalized energy transmission while you're doing the guided meditation. And then I'll move into the shaman drum, ocean drums, crystal singing bowl. So that's about 30 minutes of that. And then at the end, I always open it up to give any intuitive messages that came through or anything I saw in your energy. So if you're interested in experiencing the Chakra Reset Sound Bath, Friday's the day. You can go on my website, rwk2.com, click the upcoming events tab, and you'll be able to purchase tickets there. And then we also have on the next slide, the Rehutek Healing Circle. So that's going to be this Thursday, the 5th, from 7:30 to 8:30 at Visions Bookstore in Costa Mesa. This is a $20 investment. And this is basically getting to come in. We give a quick introduction to Rehutek. So again, where it comes from with its ancient Egyptian origins. And then you'll receive an individual personalized energy healing transmission. So you get an energy healing. And then afterwards, once everyone's received their energy healings, I will go into trance and channel my guides Astra and Lalonde and guide the group through using the Rehutek energy to manifest one thing for each person that they're wanting to manifest. So this will be our 3rd time offering this healing circle. And it is so much fun to do. It's so wonderful to be just in that energy. And we've had really, really great feedback from everyone that's come over the first couple of months. So we would love to see you there if you're in the area.
And I truly recommend it. I've been through session 1. I mean, I'm level 1, right? That's technically
yes.
Level 1. I am one with the Force, and I did one of the first group sessions, and it was really cool to first of all be with other healers and be able to share and just where we are. And it's a mixture of support group and healing circle, which is really kind of cool. And then to be able to work our gifts on clients and get the feedback. And it's really good feedback to know, like, hey, what am I doing? I'm going to put this up right now so that you guys can get ready as we are going to do the mini alignment. So make sure you have a pen and paper ready for the alignment. So remember, if you missed anything that Wayne said, go back and watch the show. You can catch it on either one of our Facebooks, either one of our YouTube pages, but it's on my Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And Unfortunately, the Instagram does not get saved, but if you're watching this on Instagram, just head over to our YouTube pages and I'll put up our, I'll find this later. My brain is not braining right now, people.
Wake up!
I needed like 5 more minutes nap time and we're ready. All right, so Wayne, we're gonna give him a little rest. And are we ready? So for those of you who are familiar with alignment, it is a barrier. We are breaking down barriers that are holding you back personally and or professionally. First thing you want to do is grab a pen and paper. If you have one available, you can use your phone, whatever you want to. I prefer people to write, but if you don't have a pen and paper, grab your phone, write on that. We're going to write down today's date. It is 12/2/2024. There's a lot of twos in there. The time is 5:25. Put your name on there so that you know that this energy is about you. And the reason I always show people write down the date and time is that if you should call me and you want a private session, I'll ask you, hey, do you remember about what time we did the session? What time was it? Because we want to keep the energy consistent. We want to know that, hey, we did this about the same time. And I give this recommendation all the time. If you're not a morning person, don't meditate in the morning. Wait till you feel connected. If you are a night owl, meditate at night when you feel connected and you know that you are one with the universe, with God, with life. I'm a morning person. I personally prefer in the mornings to connect and just recharge. So, all right, number one, let's put down what's your barrier for this week. What do you believe is the barrier that is holding you back from moving forward personally or professionally? I'll give you a couple of seconds to write that down. And let me put my smart glasses on. Ha ha ha! Now I know what I'm doing. Number one, stability. How is the stability in your root chakra? How is your foundation? Do you feel unstable right now? Do you feel that maybe you're stuck? Because remember, everything is balance. Everything is balance. So stability is affecting your barrier. It's part of the barrier. Do you feel that you're stuck where you are, or do you feel that you are not planting roots exactly where you want to be? Number two is intimacy. This could be the intimacy with yourself first. Am I being intimate with myself? And I was telling Wayne when we started, I had therapy today. I had to go really deep. And this is so already 2 words, and it's already like knocking my brain. I'm like, Garza, you know what you're talking about. So are you being intimate with yourself? If you can't be intimate with yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually, then are you really being that with the people around you? And think about the ripple effect, your partner, your family, friends, other people. Number 3, how is this affecting your power, your emotions? Right here in your belly. How is that? Are you really, I know I sometimes, especially on therapy days, sometimes I want to avoid my emotions because it does require me to be really intimate, and it's going to affect the stability that I have. And it is going to affect the barrier that's stopping me from moving forward. And I will tell you what my barrier is at the end. And if you want to share it, feel free to share it in the comments. And if we have time at the end, we'll talk about it. Number 4, clarity. And this comes out, there's 2 of them. All right, put this as a second. I've somehow pulled 2 power cards. So my bad. Go back. I just realized what I did. Here it is. The balance. Our balance this week, I don't know how I got 2 cards here. Our balance is being affected by the intimacy of our emotions. Interesting, I've never had that done before. And then number 3 is your clarity. Are you being clear with what's going on? What's taking away your power? This is really interesting. And it threw me off guard at first. I'm like, why do I have 8 cards? So number 1 is stability. Number 2 is intimacy and emotions. Number 3 is clarity. Number 4, this is our heart chakra. This is the intake. What's the anger? I know what my anger is. So is there a little bit of anger, resentment right there in your heart chakra? This is where we take in information that is affecting the clarity of where to put your power, which is throwing your intimacy and your emotions off balance, which is affecting your stability. And I'm going to tell you at the end why this is so mean right now. Okay, don't tell me how this happened because the universe knows what it did. There's 2 for the voice and the throat chakra. So communication and healing. Okay, when I tell you, I hope you're as excited as I am about this. So how is what you're saying to yourself and to others, is that helping to heal you, to let go of that anger and find the clarity that you need to be intimate with your emotions and find the stability you want? See how this works? All right. Number 6, it's the inner light. And that is so true right now. That is so true about how my inner light is not lighting at the moment. And then number 7, just went to therapy. I feel like these cards were pulled especially for me. Number 7 is mental health. I keep talking about therapy today, and it's right there. So now that you have all the 7 words, remember, you can go into my Facebook page, to the Cardivo page. If you're not following me on Cardivo on Facebook, go check it out. And I will post these on the Instagram page as well. You can go back and find all the words so that you can keep your alignment going. And then stay tuned tomorrow because Wayne will post an edited version of his message and the alignment message. Okay, so now that you have this, well, actually in this case, the 9 words and your barrier, here's the mantras for the week. And I go back and forth, so just stay tuned. So to find my stability, I know you can't see that. To find my stability, I need to get intimate with my emotions, be clear of where the anger comes from, communicate better so I can heal, and find my inner light and my mental health. Or, in order to find the mental health space that I want, let's say it that way, and grow my inner light, we're going to say grow my inner light, I need to learn to communicate better so that I can heal, let go of the anger, find the clarity in my emotions so I can have better intimate moments and find the stability that I'm looking for. So for me, and this just happened this year, I will not break down, people. Earlier this year in March, Wayne is making fun of me in the back in the green room. In March, I found out, and it just happened recently too. Okay, in March, I found out that I was adopted as a baby. I did not know this. I'm 53 years old. I did not know this too recently. And just a couple of weeks ago was Adoption Day. For those of you that follow my Daniel's Day videos, just a little recently was Adoptee Day, and I made a video. And lately, I didn't think about this. Lately, I've been very angry. I've been very angry at some of the lack of information that was given to me by my mother before she passed, and the fact that I don't know yet who my birth parents are. Through Ancestry, I found cousins and people that I'm related to, but I don't know who the mother and the father are. And I didn't know. I was very angry at it until a couple of therapy sessions ago. I realized that I am holding anger in my heart, not towards them necessarily, but towards the situation. And so this was just coming out of therapy. I'm going to bring Wayne back into the show. This today was exactly what I was talking to my therapist today about, how I feel lost. I feel very lost right now, especially during the holidays, World AIDS Day yesterday, my birthday coming up. So my stability has been thrown off a little bit. I had a very clear idea of who Daniel G. Garza was until March. And then I'm not going to say they pulled the rug out from it, but they shook it a little bit. You know, like when you're standing somewhere, people start vacuuming around you. That's how I feel. I feel like I feel like I'm standing there and people are vacuuming around me. And I'm like, what are you doing? So it's messed up with my intimacy and my emotions big time, because I don't feel clarity in my power. I keep giving my power away because I don't I don't know that I know who I am, and that throws me off, and it makes me very angry. It makes me very angry. And there's not enough crystals in my apartment to calm that anger sometimes. I am not that spiritual, folks. But I know that I need to go to therapy. I need to talk to somebody. I need to communicate in order to heal. And several people, including my boss, I had a lunch with my boss today, and my boss was telling me, he goes, I've noticed that lately you're not your normal self. And that's my inner light. And I definitely need to focus on my mental health. Otherwise, folks, I'm, 17 years clean and sober, and trying to watch myself. Sometimes it gets a little hard, and to focus on everything. And the personalities inside my head that cover alcoholism and drug addiction are just looking for a chance to jump in. And so I have to be careful with that. I have to be careful. All right, before we move into the next segment, make sure to post me. We already have one person. For those of you on Instagram, make sure that you post me in the comment section if you want us to pull a card for you. And for those of you on our regular, we will do that. Wayne.
So I want to share mine. And it's interesting because I had my barrier listed at the start and this has been a similar theme with, I think, our second episode, feeling a little bit overwhelmed by tasks, goals, future plans, things that I want to do. And after having the first two cards that you pulled, or the first three, I realized that really my barrier is being distracted from myself, and that's capital SELF. So it's me not taking the time with what you said of meditating. I know I do meditate. I still channel for myself frequently, but I was sick this last week. I actually was sick on Thanksgiving. And so it's kind of taken me down from my normal routine. And I do realize that I'm just letting myself sit in all of these tasks and what I need to do and using that, almost my ego's using that as a distraction from me doing the deeper work on my daily meditation and connecting with myself and just, having that stability, having that intimacy with my emotions and what I'm actually feeling. Because even in that sickness, a lot of emotions came up and things that I've been processing. And clarity and anger does, it is something that has been coming up for me in these processing of emotions as well, too, of being upset that I'm still affected by certain things, being upset that, I feel like I should be farther along and all the work that I'm doing. So this totally hits the mark. And it really is for me, too. It's about that mental health and making sure that I am practicing what I preach, right, as a healer and for my clients as well, too. And really taking that time and not, my Virgo ascendant makes it very easy to feel okay, this is the task, do this, and if my emotions aren't feeling it, if my Cancer sun is not feeling it, it can justify all kinds of things if I'm not paying attention. So this is a really great reminder for me to pay more attention to my mental health at this time, because I really am. There's a lot that I know that I'm accomplishing. I know I'm taking a step every day. I bought a new deck today, too, which Daniel will have to do a reading for you at some point with it. But it's the Whispers of Aloha. And one of the main messages I got in the spread that I pulled for myself was that sense of knowing that I'm making a step-by-step progress. And it doesn't have to be immense progress every day, every week. It's that constant making sure that you're coming from a place of healing and self-love to be able to move forward and accomplish what you want to accomplish moving forward. So once again, your alignment was completely off. It had nothing to do with anything about my life. Just kidding.
I am so glad that I'm just here for your entertainment, Wayne.
I know, right? Well,
We have a couple people online already. So we have Amanda. Do you know Amanda by any chance?
Yes, I do.
You do know Amanda. Okay, so let me start with her. And then we have Bella Creative Gems on Instagram. So you can take her after that. How's that?
Perfect. Sounds good.
All right. So I should have been more prepared because I always.
So as we do that, I will say at some point, before the end of the episode, Daniel had talked, when I saw him last week after the show, we went and had dinner, which was great. Daniel had seen Wicked, and I had not yet seen it, but I did have the opportunity on Wednesday. Me and my fiance Zav drove out to the desert to spend Thanksgiving with his family, and we got to see it Wednesday night, and it was so good. So I know we want to have a chance at some point during the show today to kind of discuss without too many spoilers for our audience.
If you are watching and you already saw Wicked, without any spoilers, tell us what you think. We'd love to hear your comments. All right, so I'm going to put Wayne in the green room for a second. Amanda, I hope you're still on, and if you're not on and you come back and watch, I hope you get this reading for you. We're going to start with your yesterday, today, and tomorrow, your foundation. Your Dare to Be Happy card comes upside down. So what's going on? It tells you that in our foundation, why are you avoiding? Talking about barriers. What is the barrier to you finding your happiness? And most of the time, it's energies that block us. It's people, places, or things. So, and most of the time, it's people that block us from finding our true happiness. So what are the people in your life that are blocking us? And you say, well, no, they're not blocking me. What sometimes blocks us, when people block us from happiness, it could be social norms, it could be culture, it could be religion. There's a lot of things that they can be doing that is stopping us from reaching that goal. Particularly if you're lending money. Be careful with lending money or giving people money, and it's leaving you without the financial security that you need. Here's the drop it. This is your today. It's time to drop some of those people, some of those energies. If you are still holding on to those energies, expecting for them to make the changes to make sure that you find your happiness, it's not going to happen, folks. It is nobody's job but our own to find our happiness. People can partake, people can be part of, people can be in our happiness, but nobody can make us happy, and we cannot make anybody happy. And this has to do, Amanda, with the decorate. This has to do with your tomorrow. Is about you. It's about changing you. And it's the physical. It's the body, mind, and spirit. What do we need to change to make sure that you understand that you are worthy and that you can stand on your own, and we can drop some of these energy, people, places, and things to make sure that you move forward in the direction you want to go. In your spirit, see, here's the stick with it, and it's upside down. So there are some things that you're holding on to your spirit that no longer need to be there. And again, usually it's the influences of culture, religion, or social norms that keep us in that place. We might be conditioned to do what our partner says. We might have been taught to be submissive and not be strong. This is your calling. It's your turn to be strong. In your heart, your spirit is in your heart because it's time to invest in you. And I just said it in decorating. This is your moment. This is your moment. Anybody in our lives who is upset, mad, or trying to stop us from becoming better people, we need to rethink that energy and why is it keeping you together. And then in your outcome, there's a keep dancing card. It comes upside down. So it could be one of two things. Either it's time to put some movement in your life, or it's time to go back to your love. Music, dancing, moving, yoga, Zumba, something that requires your body to move. Now, I'm going to say this. If there are physical things that are stopping you from going back to what you want to do physically, then there are alternatives to doing it. And make sure that you don't limit yourself. We talked about barriers earlier. Do not be a conclusion to the people in your life. Because sometimes, we were talking about being in intimate conversations and the alignment. Sometimes we forget to have that conversation saying, if I am removing myself from the partner, from my parents, from whomever, who is stopping me from living my dream, and then I go off on my own, but then my own mind is keeping me from living my dream, then what was the point? See? And time to say thank you. It's time to say thank you and walk away. So what this tells me is it's your turn to be happy. So invest in yourself, keep dancing, and stick with what you love. It's time to change either your mind, your physical, or your spirit. Drop some of the things that no longer fit you. And it's just say thank you and walk away. You do not owe anybody anything. So make sure that it's your turn to be yourself. Take care of yourself. I hope that helped. Sometimes, do you feel like sometimes you don't have like the perfect ending in your life, and that's it? That's how I feel right now. Like, and tomatoes.
And close the curtain.
But do you ever, in order for Amanda to get a full ending to her reading, do you ever feel, or have you ever encountered people who, because we both do readings for clients, people who disconnect from the source of the blockage, people, place, or things, but then it's still in their mind, and even when they're up on their own, that message is still resonating in their head, and now they have to disconnect from themselves in order to start this new life that they're looking for. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. And I think that lends to like the ego, right? Too, where the ego doesn't want us to change. The ego wants us to be safe and stay the same. And so a lot of times the ego can come in and subvert whatever that message is, or say, oh, that's not the problem, or that is the problem, or but basically try to control. And it doesn't give us the opportunity to truly like think about or resonate. I think that's where that message keeps coming in until that message is fully received and we're able to have either that release that we need to have or, you know, otherwise. But definitely also depending on our astrological makeup, some people have a harder time acknowledging that and some people have an easier time. So it's all kind of in your makeup that allows for, you know, easier acceptance or realizing when the ego is stepping in.
Yeah. Yeah. So Amanda just sent us all those messages. So I'm glad that resonated, and I'm glad you got your message once you were done driving. So, all right. So next, let me pull up her comment here. Bella, there you are. Here we go. And Wayne Tickle.
Perfect. And then if you saw Daniel after this, from my Instagram, Monica will be next. So if you want to take her. Okay, so let's take a look. So I pulled a spread for you. Let's take a look and see what we have happening for you. So the card at the heart of the spread, the heart of your situation at this time, you have the 9 of Wands. So the situation that is at focus for you right now, the one that you're likely thinking about, is one that you've likely had cycles of coming back to you. And when this card comes up, it's usually that theme of you have the same issue coming up and you still are trying to deal with it in the same way. So the advice is, knowing that this situation has come up, knowing that you've tried to heal this before, in what ways can you operate differently to be able to get a different outcome so you're not stuck in the same cycle? The card that's crossing you at this time is Strength. So this would say that you don't feel like you have the strength to get through this. You don't feel like you have the understanding to understand the situation in a way that will allow you to be removed from it. So it's interesting, especially with the astrology of everything that I've spoken to as well too. It's likely this is what you've been banging your head up against the wall about, and really feeling like, I want to make a difference, I want to make a change, but there's that struggle and feeling like you don't have the strength to persevere. The other thing that's interesting, you have a couple cards here that are indicating that you are feeling like you're out of a place of non-happiness. So depression may be coming up for you at this time, of feeling like you're on your own or having to deal with problems on your own. So your theme card is the Sun reversed. So there's this sense of like almost feeling like you're putting on a happy face for those around you, but you're not really feeling like you are in that place of happiness. So with that, your recent past affecting your present, you have the 10 of Wands reversed. So you have been doing work. I want to acknowledge that there's been work done for you that, or that you've been doing the work needed to help release some of the situation and what's not been serving you. You have the 9 of Wands as your heart of the spread. So you have the 9 and the 10 here. So there is progress that's being made. And at present, you have the King of Pentacles reversed. So there's a sense of you have value, you have an understanding of what it is that you have to offer, but you're still not fully speaking to it. You're still not allowing others. And kind of, to me, it feels like placing those healthy boundaries to say, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm worth, and I don't want you stepping over this boundary any longer. You have the strength to do it, but there's also fears about what will that mean with that person or situations when you hold your boundaries. It means they may react poorly. It means that they're likely gaining something from you that you are not receiving in kind, or there's not an even energy exchange. So with that, future influences coming into being, you have the Ace of Wands. So there's an opportunity for new energy, for a fresh start, for things to start moving forward, a new way of acting, a new way of being. But you really have to know that you have the strength to persevere and not to fear what relationships will change or who might fall out of your life if you hold on to these healthy boundaries. So with that said, the inner influences, what you have control over, you have the 5 of Pentacles. So again, this gives me this energy of feeling like you're going to be left out in the cold if you hold your boundaries, but there's so much more for you to be gained if you stand in your power and recognize that there isn't this even energy exchange that's happening. And so you need to move forward with a different way of thinking, a different way of communicating, and a different way of believing about yourself. You have the Ace of Swords in what the universe is giving you. So let yourself be able to move forward and know that by setting these healthy boundaries, you only have that to gain in moving forward and seeing your situation more clearly. The guidance from the tarot, you have the Page of Swords. So again, this is recognizing that any communications that come through as you hold these healthy boundaries tell you more about the other person or people that you're dealing with than it has to do with you. So there's a clarity that comes from it. And then moving forward as your outcome, you have the Two of Pentacles reversed. So there may be this sense of feeling like you may lose value in your life. You may lose people, situations, but I will tell you that you only have that to gain because these people are taking your energy and they're not replenishing it. They're not adding anything to your situation. So it is better for you to acknowledge this and know however they react is reflective of who they are, and that you are likely to be much in a better position for you to move forward by no longer having that connection with them. So it's a little bit of a harsh message for you. I'm sorry it had to come across so directly, but I think that there's a way for you to take this and know that you only have value to gain in yourself, how you perceive yourself moving forward.
Cool. Where is she? Sorry, I have so many. There you go. And thank you, Bella Creative Gems, for watching us on Instagram. We appreciate it. For everybody on Instagram, like I said, we're keeping an eye out on the thread to make sure that we catch everybody. So if you would like to be read, sorry, guys, a little bit of intuitive joke right there. Oh, you didn't see me snap my fingers. If you want to be read. And I did it again. I'm at that age, folks. I'm at the age of dad jokes, so sue me. And then we have anything else, Ed? Before we move over to Monica?
No, I think we're ready for it. If you are, I don't know, maybe you need a little breather, a little nappy nap.
This is what happens when you hit 50, folks. And Bella on Instagram says, thank you, Wayne. Thank you, Bella, for joining us today. All right, we're going to give wait a little break there. This is for Monica. Monica H, who's also watching us on Instagram. Thank you for joining. We're going to start with your yesterday, your foundation. Celebrating you. Are we coming from a space where you were not your number one? Where were you not your number one? For everybody out there, we should be number one on our list. I know it's hard. I know it's tough sometimes to be first on the list, but we should. There's a saying in Spanish that goes, el que parte y comparte alcanza la mejor parte. And it loosely translates to English to say, he who cuts and shares gets the best share. So as you are giving away your energy, Monica, are you making sure that you have some for you? If not first, that you're saving some of that energy for you. Because in your today, it's time to tell the truth. And earlier today, we were talking about in the alignment. If you didn't get to the alignment, go back and watch it. In the alignment, we were talking about those conversations with ourselves. Are you being fully honest with yourself about what's going on and why you don't put yourself first? Why you let other people go ahead of you? Why we're not doing? And maybe here's your tomorrow. Your tomorrow is time to step away from the crowd. And there we are, the little black sheep right there. Step away. Sometimes your way of thinking, sometimes maybe your way of acting, and your mind, your body, and spirit are kind of acting different. I hate that word, kind of. Your mind, body, and spirit are acting different from the people around you. And it's because you're in another space, you're in another energy. You're pulling in from different sources and you're seeing things differently. So it may be time, and for everybody listening, I never tell anybody it's time to get a divorce or leave your kids or never go back to. No, sometimes we just need a little break. Sometimes I just need to disconnect. It's the old Ross and Rachel. We were on a break. Sometimes you just need to disconnect for a little bit from certain people, places, or things in order to regain your energy, because your spirit is saying no. And this is why I say that, because your spirit is like, no, no new people are allowed in my spirit. And that's very good to say. It's nice to have those barriers. I always say, because it's part of your power, and that's where you're in our belly, in our solar plex. Imagine that you have one of those extension cords, and it's sitting on your belly, and they only have 6 plugs. So if you have more than 6 people pulling on your energy, there is one too many. And if one of those is an ex or an old friend or not your bestie anymore, those are the first people we need to knock out, because sometimes they are still pulling on our energy. And I say this because there was somebody in my life who was a former friend, and I was still giving them energy, and I finally had to disconnect and say, we're not at that level anymore. We're not at a level where I have the obligation, whatever you want to call it, to give you energy. I need to disconnect it and give it to myself. Your heart came up with clean up your own mess, and it's upside down. It's already been cleaned. It's already been taken care of. There should be no more guilt, resentments, fears, angers in your heart. There's a numb feeling, and numb is a feeling. Numb is valid. There is the I don't feel anything with this relationship, with this person, place, or thing. So I need to go celebrate myself and walk away. In your outcome, this is what I've been trying to lead to. It's time to change the scenery around you. It's time to change what you see, the people, places, and things around you, the personal, the professional, mind, body, and spirit. Because at the end of all this, we're all just going to laugh about it. It's going to be like, how did I ever get caught in all this? So what it's telling me is, Monica, it's time to celebrate yourself. You've already cleaned up your mess, and you can walk away. That once you clean it up, it's going to change the scenery. Say no to any new energies that don't serve you, because it's okay to be on your own for a little bit. But be honest with yourself about the direction that you want to take, to make sure that in the end, you're the one that's laughing about the situation. I'm going to bring Wade back in, and that way you're the one that's laughing at the situation and not being laughed at. Hope that makes sense. We have okay. There we go. It makes sense to me. I got you. Okay. And then, okay. Well, there you go. That's it's the Wonder Woman block to disconnect from people, but it's about you, girl. You know what? And I mean that GURL, girl. What is it, Molly? You're in danger, girl. The call is coming from inside the house. What do you? Because we don't have anybody else on hold, right? Everybody's good right now. Okay. We disconnect physically, and I think you know the people or the person that I'm talking about. We disconnect physically, like we are no longer best friends. Like you have been demoted to acquaintance. I know you. We at one point, but mentally there was always that. Why are we not longer friends? What happened? The old, what did I do? How did it come to be? And then once you realize I didn't do anything to cause this friendship to break down, then your spirit is still kind of connected, because you see that maybe things aren't going as great for them. Things are being a little tough. Maybe you're having a tough time with it, and your spirit still says, maybe there's still a chance that we can still be besties. But I feel, and you can state your opinion. I feel that once you reach that level of friendship, and then it comes back down, it never really reaches that level again. Does that make sense?
Yes. Well, it's interesting what I would say too, and knowing kind of what you're speaking to, and then even the reading that I had just done, there's that sense, and this was kind of intuitive, obviously, as doing an intuitive reading, but through all of this change that we've been going through with all of these astrological aspects over the past 3 months, 2024, 2023, we are going through immense change as individuals. And when we go through immense change as individuals, if we don't have clear, healthy communication, and we're not connected with people who are also addressing their karma, addressing their issues in a healthy way, or they don't have some type of outlet, it doesn't have to be one specific way, but that's where I feel like relationships begin to falter and falling out tend to happen because there is someone who is focused on growth, someone who is focused on addressing their karma, addressing their issues, addressing their trauma. And by doing so, you're not always the same person. But if you are able to express yourself authentically and you have a best friend, you have someone like you, Daniel, to me, I feel like we all have always had a similarity and we've always been close because we have this constant focus on being our authentic selves, allowing each other to grow, allowing each other to change, and accepting each other as that happens. Because you're not the same Daniel that you were when I met you, and I'm not the same Wayne that I was when I met you. And there's been immense growth. And yes, there's been times where I've had slow challenges, slow growth, and the same for you. But with that, we allow that space. And I think that that's why we have always been as close as we are. And I'm confident that for the rest of my life, I will be as close to you in the same way, that we're always going to be seeing that growth and wanting that growth. And also what I will say, last week, one of my best friends as well too, Cassie from high school, you had the opportunity to read her, and I got to call and speak to her on Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And her and I had this, actually it was after we talked, because we got to talk for about an hour and then we had to leave for the movie. But she had sent me a message afterwards and just kind of validating and saying, like, I love that after all of these years, we still get to be so close. We still get to share. And I feel heard. I feel seen by you. And so that means so much to me too, because she is one of those people that, I don't always have the opportunity to connect with her. She's been very busy. I've been busy as well too. So we're trying to make more of an effort to spend time. But even if there's been 5 months between us having a phone conversation, if there's just been texts in between, we see each other. And it's me accepting her authentically, her accepting me authentically, knowing that we're shifting and growing. Because if there's always just the same expectation that you're always going to be the same person, at some point that relationship is going to have a falling out because it will become stagnant in that way.
Yep. Yeah. But something you just said, there's an effort of energies that come in together to build together. And I'm going to use Monica's reading as example. Monica, if you're putting in, and I don't believe that we always put 100%, because we don't always do 100%. But whatever percentage you're putting in, if it's a pretty high number, and you are, say Wayne and I'm putting in 75%, Wayne's putting in 70%, we're building that friendship. But if Wayne starts to take away and we're not building each other up, and Wayne starts to break me down and put me down or whatever, those energy, we have to really stop and evaluate the energies. And as I mentioned earlier, religion, social norms, and culture will hold us back from making the decisions that we want to make. It's difficult sometimes. Do you have more comments? Did you want me to show these?
Yeah, if you want to just it's a little bit more validation for you.
All makes sense. Thank you so much. Yeah, about me. Okay. My son still has a strong physical connection with his dad. Trying myself with a serious issue with that. Got you. All I can say is we don't talk about this up in the show, but I always say a good black candle to disconnect those energies, like the power of
cut those cords.
I always have a candle late. I have actually, if you come to my house, there's like a dozen candles all over the house. But one of these 7-day candles, I don't know why I'm doing the TikTok thing. But here's the candle.
A little ASMR.
But no, one of these black candles, get a black candle at the dollar store, at your favorite spiritual shop. I like sandalwood, or inside, 7 drops, some people do 13. Click the wick a little bit. I always wash the candle from the outside, make sure I get all the energy off. So the pattern is, you get the candle, wash the candle. If you want to write on the candle the purpose for it, or if you want to write it on paper and put it underneath the candle, but then you do the drops inside, click the wick, let it burn if you can for the whole time. Don't turn it off. Don't blow on the candle. Snuff it. But I usually let them burn. They say 7 days, but I feel like when the energy is really intense, it's usually like 4 days and it's gone. But this is blue, obviously, but get a black one to disconnect the energies.
The other thing I'll say about that too, since you brought it up, is at Awakenings and Visions, Lori Camacho and Tyler McLaughlin, they are co-owners of Hecate's Torch Ritual Supplies. And I absolutely love all their product. I have every single one of their oils. And one of their oils that is so great is the Banish oil. It's all magically infused. And so you can use the oil to infuse on a candle. So you could buy a black candle, do the Banish oil on it, and whatever intentions you're setting will assist in clearing that out. But it's super energized, super powerful. And they also have, I actually have one burning from something that we did recently, and it's their banishing candle. So it is like a candle that has kind of that same thing, but it's the candle portion of it. And it smells really good. They have it's interesting because banishing is meant to not necessarily smell as good, right? Because you want to banish, you want to release, but it has coffee and bay leaf smells. So it kind of smells like fresh coffee being brewed as it's burning. So I kind of love it. I'm like, yeah, bring in the smell, but banish whatever it is that I'm wanting to banish. So it's a great practice. Anytime you're being intentional that way.
It's not like a magic Mr. Clean magic eraser. It's all right, so I don't see anybody else online. So can we talk about it now? Can we talk about it?
I'm so ready. So did you see Wicked on the stage at all? Did you have the opportunity to see it?
Yes.
I did too. I saw it like 7 times in the first 2 years that it was at the Pantages. So what was your take on the musical, that live version, before we talk about the movie?
Okay, so and this was in New York, so this was pretty awesome. So
you saw it on Broadway?
I had the whole Broadway experience. Yes. My first trip to New York, the first thing I saw on Broadway was Wicked. So amazing. And it was during Pride Month. It was during Pride Week in New York. So a combination of everything. I knew the songs. Okay, so I'm going to be honest. I didn't know much about Wicked until Glee. When Hofer and Leah Michelle did their version of
Defying Gravity, right?
Defying Gravity, thank you.
Yeah.
And then I heard the song and I was like, oh, where is that from? And then I saw Wicked. I was like, oh, what is this Wicked you speak of? And then I went and searched it on YouTube. And obviously there's a whole bunch of different videos. Christian, my boyfriend, was like, we're going to be in New York. Do you want to see it? So I was like, yes. And I cried. I had chills. I'd already learned some of the songs, of course. And what I find cool is that, like, the show we went to, a lot of people were singing, so I felt inclined to join in the singing. Mm-hmm. And I just, okay, so as a gay man, Defying Gravity was so, we talk about separating from people, places, and things. As a gay man, as leaving my family back in Texas, breaking up with my boyfriend 6 months after I moved to California, all these things, and all the, living with HIV, cancer, like all these things that would have been an X next to me. And that I've looked at, and Wayne said this when we started, so I'll repeat it. But having looked at a lot of the things that are negative in my life and going, I'm going to use that in my favor. Yes, I live with HIV. I'm going to be a force about it. If I have cancer, I'm gonna survive. I don't really feel like you fight cancer. You just go to treatment. But I'm going to survive the aftershock of it. And there's a lot of things in my childhood that happened. I defied gravity. I really felt like that song was me. Like I feel like every day in my life, like there's a challenge, and I could sit down and be anchored and which I don't think anybody would blame me if I was bitter and angry and upset all the time. But I chose to defy gravity, and basically it's when she says, go back and tell him, it's me telling life, because everybody knows, right? Everybody knows life is a balance. Life is temperamental. One day life is really great to you, and the next day she's just like, So to that version of life is like, go back and tell him, if you want to find me. And it's so ironic because it says, look to the western sky, and I moved west from Texas. So there you go. Long answer, but that's.
Yes. Oh, I have my cat here now. Thackeray. There's the candle burning. I don't want you to get burnt, baby. Short cat intermission. Sorry, Thackeray.
Yeah.
So I will say I loved the. Again, I saw it like 6 or 7 times in the first couple of years that it was out, and just the so much so that I read the book that the musical is based on, even though it's very loosely based on. That is a very interesting book to read. But I love the message of empowerment. For me, as a gay man myself, I really feel like it's, Alphabet has the stigma on her as well too, so it can apply in so many ways to LGBTQ. It can with racism, it can apply as well too. There's so many things in it that I feel like is so prevalent for the now, and that was so prevalent back then 20 years ago. But I love that message of like Alphabet stepping into her power with defying gravity and saying, no, I'm not going to be complacent anymore. I'm not just going to go along with the system. I'm going to be uniquely me and step into my power 100%, and really like what that unfolds with. And I love too the theme of, obviously in the stage version and the movie, about this idea of goodness and evil and wickedness. And that like it really turns it on his head, where what in Oz they're saying is the goodness is really like encapsulating of evil and restriction and restricting others and not allowing them to be their authentic self, that you have to fit into this mold to be good. So I loved it because I loved it back then, and then of course seeing it in the movie theater and seeing Cynthia's performance, seeing Ariana. I've come into a love of Ariana in the last couple of years. I didn't necessarily follow her or like her that much from her Disney days moving forward, but my God, they both killed it, and they really made the parts their own. I absolutely love too, me being a singer that I am. I can tell, and as most singers, if you're a good singer or you're practiced in it, you can tell when someone is actually singing, because there are things that you can't fake. There are muscles that move. There are certain ways. And I can tell when people are lip syncing, and it drives me crazy. I feel like if you're doing a musical and you're recreating something from the stage, it should be recorded live. It needs to have that vibe for it. And so I think there's some of it that was not necessarily recorded live, but the bulk of it was. And you can tell how much more powerful it is. And it's not easy sometimes to be hitting those high notes and to look pretty and to look good, because sometimes it requires you to open it up and look back. And so I just loved every moment of it, because I feel like it's a visual fest. It really brings you into that world. And the way that they executed the characters, the way that they added in certain parts, it really still honored the stage version. And I mean, the other thing I speak to too is theater chills, right? When you're in the theater, getting those chills and those moments. When I would watch Wicked, I would cry at least 5-6 times throughout the entire production. And in just the first movie, which is the first half of it, I cried 6 times throughout, just from those emotions and feeling it and knowing it. And absolutely beautiful. I am so excited. Me and Zav are going to go back. I want to see it in 3D now, so we're probably in the next couple of weeks go back and see it in 3D. And then they're also doing, which I think we talked about, Daniel, now in December. In December, they're doing sing-alongs too, where you can go and watch the movie, and it's encouraged to sing along with it. So I definitely want to experience both of those in 3D and do the sing-along too.
Yeah, I went Monday before the premiere. Amazon had their preview, and I'm going to say now, folks, I'm a pig when I go to the movies. I go for the snacks as much as for the movie. So, and I went by myself. It was one of those nights where I had therapy in the afternoon, And I'm like, I'm so glad I'm going by myself. I like the aisle. I had nachos, I had a hot dog, and I had a big Slurpee. Yes. And I was in my feelings because I had therapy that afternoon, and a lot of things have been going on that weekend. The only thing that bothered me was the lady behind me was kicking my chair a couple of times, and it irritated me. But other than that, I was on the edge of my seat. And the thing is that if you watch the theater production, you know what's going to happen. But it's those little things that they can't do on stage that they can do in the movie. And it was and every character. But I'm like you. I was not an Ariana Grande. I didn't know really her from the Disney days. I knew her from. I really started to pay attention from her licking the donut.
Yes, me too. And it made me not kind of like her because I'm like, what kind of person does that in a public place? So that was something that was like a stigma for me for her. Yes.
I was like, why is she licking what? So that's the first time I ever heard of Ariana Grande. And then I saw her on The Voice, and I started to like her a little bit. I was like, okay, well, she's kind of cute. She's cool. And then I saw her, I can't remember what show she was on, and she started doing all these impressions. And I was like, wow, okay, she's pretty talented.
With Jimmy Fallon, right? With
probably, and she also did I think she did on Kelly Clarkson too. I saw one of the two. And then Saturday Night Live, and then I was like, okay. And then, okay, so yes, her performance was excellent. As an actor too, what really made me like her was the behind the story of the 10 years that she was going out to this role. Mm-hmm. So for those of you that don't know, you can go on Peacock, there's a behind the scenes, but don't see the behind the scenes till you see the movie.
Watch the movie first.
Yes. There's a behind the scenes, and they talk about for 10 years, this has been in pre-production, and she's been slowly trying. And but once I saw her on stage, I was like, I don't know if you'll agree with me. Kristen Chenoweth, for me, will always be a goddess. I think she is amazing in everything that she does. She created this character. Ariana came in and picked up the character and is wearing the character, but then she added her own touches. So when I see it, I don't see Kristen Chenoweth. I don't see she took Kristen Chenoweth. No, she took the character and made it her own. And now I fully understand when people say they made their character their own. It's just like Cynthia. She took Alba, what it was, and then said, okay, let me try her on and make adjustments. Because to me, Alba is green. There is no black or white. She's green. And once you see that, I think if you're a real fan of the movie or the stage production, you understand that Elphaba is green. That's her color. Does it make sense? Yeah. So anyway.
So good.
So good. We have about we got some more of your announcements.
Yes. So just a reminder of the services that I have to offer. You can contact me through my website, rwk2.com. But I do intuitive tarot readings. That's either online via video conference, over the phone, or in person at Awakenings in Laguna Hills. So you can learn more about that on my website. I also do Rehutech energy healing sessions. This is kind of transforming into utilizing multiple tools. So the start of it's a 90-minute session. The first 15-20 minutes is actually using tarot to dive deeper into what is blocking you at this time. What are you coming in to address and wanting to heal? And then shortly after that, you head to the table where I do energy work on you, helping you to release and clear stagnant energies, karmic energies, anything that's ready to be released, calling in your divine support as well too for any messages and healing, and then coming back and doing some NLP practices to assist with either changing certain behaviors that will help you in addressing this, or other NLP as well too. So really deep. I've always gotten really great feedback on it. I love getting to hold space in this way. It's very, very powerful. So if there's something that you feel like has been holding you back, that is a great way of working with me as well too. And then the other thing that I'm been loving and speaking about is my meditative quest through the Zodiac album. This is actually the meditations that you hear when you come to my sound bath, my chakra reset sound bath. But these are also available for purchase on my website and download. So you download each of the albums. You have the guided body scan for track 1. The second track is the Zodiac focused meditation. And then there's also a sleep track on there. And all of these are Rahu Tech energy infused. So whenever you listen to them, you are being bathed in this Rahu Tech healing energy. So if you're interested in that, I have basically all of the Zodiac signs up to Sagittarius. And by the beginning of next year, we'll have all of those available. So I'll have that full album. But gotten really great feedback on that as well too.
Sweet. And we got some more announcements for you guys. If you are looking for spiritual transpersonal coaching, try the alignment. This is my service. We identify, acknowledge, remove barriers, which what we did today. I need to make one of my old services, but yes, I also do. I'm a Reiki master, card reader, and Reiki Tech, obviously, and the alignment. So go to thealignment.net and you can read more about it. Remember, we've got I've got my book. You still have time to order it. It's Grumpy Bunny and the Colors Game. It's a guided meditation book for children. It's $20 signed and delivered. You can also find it at Awakenings in Laguna Hills and Visions and Dreams in Costa Mesa. But if you go to littlemexicanproductions.com/Grumpy Bunny and get them from me directly, you will get them autographed, signed, and delivered. Remember, we got shows almost every day of the week. We've got the Capricorn Coach Show, which you're watching now every Mondays, 5 o'clock. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your enemies. Don't come and check us out. On Wednesdays is the Christian and Daniel Show. That starts at 6 p.m. on the same channels you're watching now. And then on Saturday mornings, it's Put It Together live stream. What's your story? We interview everybody. What's your story? Where do you come from? Where are you now? And how did you get here? And we'd love to hear how you put it together. And then my boyfriend Christian is a spiritual coach and medium consultant. So you can find him at CPRAMIR@AT&T.net, or his phone number 310-754-9157. And we've got 8 minutes to go. Anything else you want to talk about before we go?
You know what I'd like for you to share? I know we talked at the beginning about World AIDS Day, and I think it's a good opportunity for you to kind of share maybe what were your biggest takeaways from your interviews. And I know the one question that you were most what's the word I'm looking for? That was most impactful that the doctor answered as a question was, have you had sex? Have you had sex? That is, the question to ask, and to know if you have. It's important that you know your status. It's important that you're taking care of your health. But I'd be interested to hear, what was your biggest, maybe 1 or 2 takeaways from your interviews that you did yesterday?
Yeah. So have you had sex? So World AIDS Day, approximately, I'm going to give you a couple of little stats. Approximately 1.2 million people in the U.S. are living with HIV currently. And these numbers are from 2022, which is the last nationwide stats that we have. So the numbers are probably grown. The largest numbers are among women between the ages of 18 and 24 and over the age of 65, and young people between the ages of 13 and 18. In the interviews yesterday was Wayne, who was talking about his connection to HIV, which is me, and what he's learned. There was my friend Lee, who has been living with HIV since 1989, and talked about the 86, I forget right now, but it's 30 some years that he's been living with it, and about his experience and what he saw in the 80s. And this is somebody who was living in Mississippi, rural, and how hard it was. We talked to Adriana, who is the nursing director at the Laguna Beach Community Clinic, BJ, who is a minister, who was the one reading the names in the video, and we can show the video before we leave. He was the one clinging the bells. Every time a name was announced, he would cling the bells. And then who Wayne is talking about is Dr. Jorgensen, Corey Jorgensen, who retired several years ago, but he was my doctor when I first moved to California. And in the interview, I was asking him, for those of you out there who believe that HIV does not affect you, if you were to be in a group of people, if we could leave a question on the table for a group of people to talk about when it comes to HIV, because the more we talk about it, the less the stigma exists. And he said, the question that I would ask is, have you had sex? And if you have, then you, and maybe not use protection, or maybe not knew the person that you have, no judgment. If you did not use protection, if you didn't know who it was, if you were under the influence, and you've had sex, you might have been exposed to not just HIV, but to other STDs. So I leave this question for you. I know some people think, like, this is not the place for it. Yes, because if you have a diagnosis, it affects your mind, it affects your body, it affects your spirit. And HIV is very much of that. So part of the work that I do in coaching is working with people in advocacy. I work a lot with advocates in the HIV field, not just people living with it, but organizations, therapists, to talk to people about breaking down those barriers. And I'm going to include this question in my conversations. For people that tell me I am not the demographic, and my question with them will be, well, have you had sex? And if they say yes, then I'll be like, then you are the demographic. So for those of you watching the show, first of all, thank you for staying with us till the end. But as we are walking away from World AIDS Day, which we can walk away from the day, but you can't walk away from the diagnosis. And you're wondering, should I get tested? The next question should be, well, have I had sex? And if you have, yes, you should.
And I think too, it's so important that, you know, there's so many obviously causes. There's a lot of disease out there in other ways, whether they're communicable or not. But I think that a world informed is a world that is helping to address it, right? So even if you think that you're not one that's affected by it, if you're not LGBTQ or any part of that, it's still important, I think, if you care about humanity, if you care about your fellow man, to be informed, even on a basic level, so that that stigma can be released, can be removed. Because unfortunately, I would say there's still people out in the world who want to bury their head in the sand in experiences, and a lot of people won't start taking action until they're directly affected by it. But there are so many of our brothers and sisters out there that you know, have negatively been affected by it, and that maybe people don't even realize because of that stigma. So I think it's important for all of us as humans, as a part of humanity, to do our part in, you know, and I will say one more plug for Daniel. I absolutely love his social media posts where every day he's speaking to like a specific type of day, what it is. And sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's lighthearted, and some days it's challenging. And, you know, the more awareness we can bring to every aspect of, you know, our lives, whether it's joyful, whether it's challenging, whether it's disease, the more that we are acknowledging and holding space for people, and hopefully creating change and awareness that can shift what impact those diseases or those situations are causing. So
yeah, thank you. So we'll bring you more information throughout the shows. Make sure you tell your friends, put it on your calendar, Mondays, 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, no matter where you're watching us in the country. Make sure you join us. Remember, the first part of the shows are Wayne's messages, followed by the alignment, and then a full hour of readings. Again, and you're seeing down at the bottom, if you got a reading and you would like to donate to our show, we'd appreciate it. Any donations are welcome. Usually you're able to buy us dinner after the show. So just to be honest, we work hard and we use a lot of energy, so we'd appreciate your support. For now, any last thoughts before we go? We got a minute.
I would say just looking to the week ahead, you know, go back If you have a chance, rewatch the show or visit our Instagram page, give us that follow, and take a look at what the week has in store. It's definitely going to be an interesting week and coming into some of those astrological shifts. So just be gentle with yourself and know that this is not just a time of like looking to the future or releasing. It's a little bit of both. So let yourself process and let yourself be able to kind of change your expectations about where you're heading. I think that's the best advice for the week.
Sweet. And I'll be posting the cards so you can check those out. Make sure you stick with the alignment. Get a notebook. If you're going to be following our shows, we get a notebook so you can take notes on both the messages and the alignment. It'll keep you on track. And it's something you can go back and look at and see how you have grown with the show. For now, I want to thank you. Have a great night. This is the Crab and Goat Show. And because I'm talking, I'm not setting up my next. There we go. Everybody have a great week. And we'll talk to you next week. Have a good one, folks.
Bye.
And where's the music? Cue music.